There's a trinity of activity that's always happening within our center self. Now, this video is pretty much going to be explaining doing, but it's very important for you to know the divine qualities of the self and how the self operates. Now, I'm going to be the one explaining this here because this is my business. So, when we look at this trinity of activity, just to say you have a job. Well, you have a job, right? All right, cool. So your job and the owner of the job or your boss tell you to do something, you take the thought and you go. Do whatever the thought is. And that is exactly the whole thing. So if you can listen to another person, then you could definitely listen to the divine quality of yourself. You could definitely listen to your innermost being. You could definitely listen to God within you and go. Because you just get the thought and go. But the way in which you receive the thought, sometimes we have different things called roadblocks that we place upon our own selves because for some reason that we find, I don't know how we find ourselves. We just need to know where we're going because we've already gotten there when we receive it in mind. So where we're looking now is this space here called the emotional space. So if you want to get ahead and get your business started because you're working this matrix outside of the box, bitch. You feel what I'm saying? You working this matrix outside the box. So you have an idea. This is where the first this first activity in the Trinity of Activity, we're talking is the thought. You receive the thought to start this business. And now you're starting this business, now you start thinking and feeling about all the things that people have told you about business. It's like, oh, well, my auntie never got her business started. My mother was over there, and then my dad didn't have to. And then now you got to move through all of that. Why? Because this is the emotional energy. Where does emotional energy come from? Well, it comes from the first place where all things come. The same place. If you have the thought in mind, you keep your mind on the thought, you keep your mind on the end goal, you keep your mind on the activity, you keep your mind on the ideal, then the emotion is going to back that up because that's where you're sending your focus attention, paid attention, you receive, you got to pay attention to receive. Okay, so pay attention to the vision. Thank you. Thank you. I know we wanted to get that one good. I got it good. So that's the second space of activity. All right, now this video is basically going to be an overview because this course that I'm going to show you guys about after this video in the link description somewhere like this, I'm going to take you into crafting your own natural patterning so that you can expand your blueprint utilizing the same qualities I'm explaining because it's the same, different. You feel what I'm saying? So now that you have the emotion in check, you've been paying attention to the vision. You've discarded all the other thoughts and ideas that don't correspond with the vision. Now the emotions are ready action. Now the emotions ready action. Yeah, I couldn't even put too much space in between it because how many people know that feeling of we doing this now? You know, y'all know that feeling of we doing this now? Because I don't know the feeling if y'all don't know the feeling. You know what I'm saying? Because when she want to do this now, that's when the feeling's now. You know, and that's only for my sake of partner because that's the type of time it is, but that's a now type of time. You know what I'm saying? That's not another later than how, maybe 2 minutes in there. You feel me? So sometimes when you have the emotion action, how you do is like based on you. It's based on the time, based on the season, based on the thought, based on what the ideal is, based on where you are within your trinity of activity. Because if you have an idea and you haven't done it, I know where you at. Well, why haven't you, you know what I'm saying? If you have an idea and you haven't done it, guess this where you at. Now, you might have some vibes. Maybe you're over here. But if you had an idea and that shit was done, then I could see exactly where you at because I don't have to ask you or discern. Your actions done told me. You feel me? That's the whole trinity of activity right there. Now, the whole correlation is how do you now take your divine gift, goal, aspiration, guidance, insight, intuition, from a thought to an ideal that's in your hands at the time? Well, you got to believe it in. And that happens all up in the emotions. So that we're going to be talking about visualization, imagination, and intentional visioning. Super excited all about that. Super excited about that. Because, you know, so the trinity of activity really, I like to breeze through it because that's how I feel like it's supposed to be. I feel like it's supposed to be a breeze. I feel like it's not supposed to be a whole. I'm not supposed to come on here and give y'all a 2-hour lecture about the self in this dynamic. I feel like I want to give y'all a 7-minute banger.com, best than ever been said, and then go about our business, actually putting that shit into action and use. You feel what I'm saying? That's the type of time I like. Because I don't fuck around. I don't like wasting time. I don't fuck around. I'm just loving this new like vibration I'm feeling on me right now. So here goes. Sharing a little bit with the world today. And yeah, the Trinity of Activity is also called the Three Mind series. It's going to be shown here and also on YouTube. Taste it and allow it to nourish all your cells, because this light power is going all the way. You feel what I'm saying? So, boom, that's the Trinity of Activity. We have the mind, the space of thought, the center receiver, and the correlation of the senses. Then we have also the emotions, which is the center and the seat of feeling, and also intuition. And then we go into the actions, which is the manifestation, the homeostasis of the masculine and the feminine in one place. Because they can't be in the same place if they're not at the same. You feel what I'm saying? Because if you have an idea and you have a feeling that's counter of the idea, then you don't have them at the same place. You have them together separately. You don't want that, because that's like you want to do something, but then you don't, because that's basically, y'all want a scripture? Here comes. Say, a house that's divided upon itself cannot stand. Now, people don't want to hear the scriptures outside their context. I hope they have life in context before they even read the scriptures. That's all I'm saying. So with that being stated, the Trinity of Activity is just allowing yourself to be all of you in a moment now without any other reason why. And the reason why normally comes through a belief, or normally comes in through something, and it has to be resolved in the emotional space, because that's how we hold all of our stuff, basically. And yeah, so I'm going to give you guys a little update, and at the same time, you know, fill out this little swag.com on this little channel right here. You feel me? This big global channel right here. That's what this shit is. Like, what? I'm over here feeling this. The elephants right here is saying something like, yeah, I got you. On the backs. But yeah, so the Trinity of Activity, I'm going to be sharing that with all of us in the foundational way that we don't hold nothing back, because we don't know how. Because the only thing we know how is to go with God's original thought. And that's your whole self. Super excited all about it. So, you know, every single time doubt shows up, you know exactly what to do with him. You feel me? Because he's not singing the same song. And that's all of it. Just make sure you keep singing it and pay attention to the vision. Super excited. Peace to all of God. I love all of you, all of us. I give thanks. And I'm going to see y'all in the next video. And also check the video link description for when we're starting to share and have a class on the Trinity of Activity, to make sure that everybody's utilizing their own self in the fullness of their quality of life. And that's the .com. I'll see you around.